Hi everyone, and welcome to another professional sales e-learning video class. This is Tony Brancatella, and this time around we're still in module 1, and we're going to take a closer look at retail sales work conditions. Now in retail sales work conditions, we're going to look at working hours, wages, especially here in Canada, benefits, syndication or working for a union, and also the challenges of a retail sales associate. So if we're looking at working hours, full-time working hours are usually around 35 to 40 hours per week, and this is something that you're going to have to look at also when you do your internship. And part-time, it's relatively around 15 to 20 hours per week. Now, of course, this does not include what happens on Black Friday, Christmas, other days of vacation, where those hours could be substantially higher, especially also in summertime weekends when there's a lot of festivities. Here in Montreal in July, a lot of hours could really be almost 15 hours or 14 hours per day. There's also weekend work. 7 days a week is also a possibility, but weekend work is really not considered full-time employment, so you don't get all the benefits you might if you are working full-time. But there's something else that plays a big part also in the workplace in retail when it comes to working hours, and that is seniority. Seniors have come back into the workplace and have taken up a lot of these jobs that are part-time. Thursdays, Fridays. I remember I used to work. I work after school, and it used to be Thursday night, Friday night, and then Saturday. Well, a lot of these jobs now are taken over by seniors, and it's only because a lot of the millennial generation or the newer generation of today don't want these low-paying jobs and don't want to work on weekends. They want to have their social life still. That plays a very big part in their life. So seniors have taken over a lot of these jobs. And talking about low-paying jobs, let's talk about wages here in Canada. So here is a map structured with the actual provinces and their minimum wages. So you can see for Quebec, really we're not at the lowest. We're certainly not at the highest either. But there has been some kind of change coming along here in Canada, and that is the minimum wage going up to $15. So, can you guess which province has gone up $15 first? That would be Alberta. Alberta is set to restructure their minimum wage to go up almost $3 to $15. And the next province that is looking at that now and that has passed legislation to do this is Ontario. So they will be going also to $15 minimum wage. Here in Quebec, it's still uncertain that we will go up to $15, and there's many issues or many things that come up when you talk about $15 and what it stands for, and what are the good things about going up to $15 and what are the bad things, especially economically, if we do. So in Ontario, they say that it's going to boost low-waging jobs, and they don't think it's going to hurt the business. So they also say people who are working at the minimum wage spend that money. This is the Premier of Ontario that says this. That money goes back into the economy, and that's a good thing for business. If their employees feel secure and they are loyal to the business, they want to stay, that's good for business as well. But also there's the other side, that all these policy changes could bring up also different businesses to go out of business instead of actually growing. So here in Quebec, we're looking at a lot of things. Work-life balance is the biggest issue that they're looking at $15. Could change a lot of things. And the Premier here in Quebec would say something like, we are interested in all initiatives that can improve the quality of life of Quebecers, but keep the economy improving at the same time. So it really is still a big issue here, and we're far from going to $15 in Quebec. But there is another issue also when it comes to wages, when we look at the differences of wages between men and women. So these numbers reflect hourly earnings back in 2015. And if you look at males, they make almost $4 more per hour than females. So this actually, if you look back 2011 and 2013, it has ranged pretty much the same increase, but the actual gaps have not been breached. Far from it, actually. Well, I also have here wages or hourly wages for full-time employees versus part-time. Here it's a huge gap, and this is what I was telling you. Part-time employees, I should say, are not treated the same way as full-time. So how does retail in profession compare to other professions here in Canada? So now let's look at how retail sales wages compare to other professions. As you can see, they do not fare very well. Retail trade is a lot lower than a lot of other professions, as you can see, and these are all starting. So real estate here seems a bit low, but it's probably higher with experience for sure. So even education is a lot more than retail. So this could be a little challenge to get into retail and to actually make a living in retail. But there is benefits, right, in retail. So here are some benefits that if you're working in retail, and especially bigger companies like I mentioned earlier in the program, the McDonald's, the Tim Hortons. The benefits include health and life insurance, pension plans. You do have sick leave, maternity and paternity leave that a lot of countries don't have. Here we do in Canada. Product rebates that you could get, unpaid leave, and some companies are structured that way, and also you can get annual vacations. Let's look at some other big retailers. And one of the biggest, Apple. Apple's package, if you work for them, their benefits. Here we go. They have an excellent benefit package. Health and life insurance, long-term disability coverage. They have vision care. They also help you with your tuition if you want to go back to school. They also have financial education seminars to help you with your savings. They have stock options, which if you know the history of Apple, it's one of the best things possible, one of the best stocks in the last 15 years. Employee discounts, 25% of all products. This is, the actual cost of the actual Apple products. This is a good thing if you are an Apple fan. Let's take a look now at Home Depot and their package. Home Depot has a little bit different package. Their part-time employees receive dental, vision, and life insurance. And the main reason for this is because they are older. There's a lot of seniors that work at part-time, I should say, at Home Depot, and they have these packages available to them. Full-timers or full-time employees also get benefits like medical benefits, disability and life insurance, also stock options, group benefits such as legal services. This is a big thing now in a lot of companies. They help you with your money. They help you with your savings. Auto insurance also. And also they take care of your pet. They will give you veterinarian insurance. If you look at Indigo and their benefits, pretty good benefits also. Dental health benefits. Here we have that for whether if you're full or part-time. So a lot of companies take care of their part-time workers, but this is not overall. They also help you with your RRSPs. This is Registered Retirement Savings Plan, which is very popular here in Canada, but unused or very rarely used by a lot of employees because it's very hard to save. So Indigo helps you save your money, and by simultaneously giving you a tax break, and it helps you save for the future. So they match the RSP contributions that you put in. You put $1,000, they will probably match it. So this is a great way of saving money, and Indigo helps you do this. They also have discounts, tuition reimbursement, employee referral benefits, and you can also have a book to borrow, and I'm quite sure, not indicated here, but they also have discounts on brand new books. Let's change gears now and take a look at what's going on when it comes to unions and syndicating work. We talked about this at the beginning of the course when the exploration exercises, and I asked you what happens in the actual retail. Is there some unionized workers? Well, if you look at Walmart, they really do not want this to be like that. They don't want to have unionized workers. So huge corporations, unfortunately, very hard to have all their workplaces unionized, and only because there's so many of them. So it's very difficult to do that. Yes, here in Quebec, they tried to unionize and they turned around, Walmart turned around and actually just closed the store. Another big problem when unionized workers is that there's a lot of part-time workers. So it's very hard to unionize when you have only part-time workers. But there is one retailer that did find a way to unionize, and this is H&M. And they did this in Toronto in one store. And the reasons that they wanted to unionize was to have better training, better scheduling, and also better job opportunities. And they succeeded in H&M. They also wanted to have a better voice on what happens in the store and also what happens to the employees' benefits. So it did work for H&M in one Toronto store. So there's a lot of challenges in retail. There's good challenges and there's bad challenges. So the advantages of working in retail, like we mentioned also at the beginning when we did the exploration exercise, there is flexible hours. You can get promoted very quickly in retail only because there's such a huge turnaround. People leave, so jobs are opened. There is commissions at all levels. There is product discounts, as we saw at Apple. Bonuses for performing employees. There's that magic word, performing employees. Show effort, and effort and initiative brings you bonuses. Can bring you bonuses, I should say. And also vacation. So now other challenges are not so cool, right? Starting weekly salary, as we saw, the wages are not exactly top notch. As we mentioned also, employee turnover. Long hours creates a lot of stress with the work-family balance, so that could be a problem too. Another one also is projected image. Projected image of where you work, the uniform that you wear sometimes creates a very negative image for you and also all your friends and neighbors that know where you work, and it's very difficult to go around this. So a lot of companies have looked at things like this, uniforms like this, and tried to change them and make them a little bit aesthetically pleasant or a little non-showing, if you want to call it that, and really have changed their styles. Employees have this issue with a projected image. Employers know this and try to help and try to change their uniforms. So there has been a change of uniforms in the workplace. So really what it comes down to is this. Your individual attitude certainly makes the difference. So let's look now at a job description when you're looking for a job as a sales associate, how it reads. So a brief statement will be something like this. We are looking for a results-driven retail sales associate to be responsible for all sales activities, from lead generation through to close. That means the whole sales process. They can also say the successful candidate will be able to elevate company standards, achieve sales goals, and meet clients' expectations. So you can see what they're looking for here, right? Elevate company standards, achieve sales goals, and also meet clients' expectations. So we talked a little bit about the English language and the way it works with the verbs that they choose. This is what you have to look at. So if you look at the verbs here, you have elevate, achieve, and meet. So we'll talk a lot about the English language when it comes to job description and also when it comes to your resumes and CVs and how we're going to work around that and how important it is to use very good verbs, action verbs. They will also post something like this, responsibilities. You can see a whole list of here. Go the extra mile to drive sales, cross-sell products, build productive trust, relationship with customers. You can see exactly what they're looking for when it comes to sales associates. If you want more information on this, to take a look at it, especially here what's happening in Quebec, I mentioned this already, the Détail Quebec is a great website that has an English side and has a lot of information on there that you could go on and browse and help you find a job, know more about what's happening in the retail industry here in Quebec. So a website like Détail Quebec will give you a lot of information about the actual industry, the economy, what's going on in the labor sector and all this. But one thing they can not do, and no one can, is to motivate you in your career and how to climb the ladder, in retail sales. So retail sales is changing a lot, and a lot of things are happening very quickly in retail sales. And so this is something that could be good for someone coming into retail sales. Your ideas, your initiatives will play a big part. Promotions play a huge factor here. So effort, again, like I mentioned, your attitude plays a big factor. Negative talk, passive aggressiveness, which we're going to get into when we get into our next module, it has really no place in retail sales. And it is challenging work. There's no doubt about it. You really want to get up there, climb the ladder, as the effect is. It's very difficult to do it. So are you up for the challenge? A lot of companies offer you in-house training. And when they do, you take advantage of this. Whatever hours they give you to train, do not refuse this. This shows as initiative and effort, and the best part of it, of course, is it shows up on your CV. And this can get out of small or large companies. They all have their advantages and disadvantages. But in retail, wherever you're working, you have to show your leadership, you have to show your effort and your initiative to want to get better at what you're doing. Or as we say right here, to climb the ladder. So career perspectives, if we can't put this in perspective, so if you start off at it as a sales associate, then you could become a team leader, you could become an assistant manager, you can take care of inventory if that interests you. It is a very high paying job. You could go into also visual merchandiser, which also is a very high paying job and very rewarding. And if that interests you and you want to become your own boss, well then you could become an entrepreneur for sure. But what it comes down to certainly is that it's up to you. So the next exercise that I would like you to do has really got to do with just an answer of no problem for me, could be a problem, or it is a problem for me. And on this, all you got to do is choose one. So if you look at the first one, work week, 35 to 40 hours full-time or 15 to hours part-time. Is this a problem for you? Could become a problem for you depending on your life and work balance, or with your studies and with your family, it is a problem for you. So basically just tick what you think is best for you, and if you are really made out for retail work. And there's a couple of questions at the end I would like you to also answer. One has to do just your overall understanding of this and your perspective, one of these choices, and also to try to answer for me $15 an hour wage increase here in Quebec. Would that be a good thing or not a good thing? So about your opinion on that too. Great, so that's the exercise. See you in class.